Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports. Who was that? That was mad early.
That was me. I was so early.
It's all good, man. Make it yours. Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports, presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. Check us out, www.giveusashot.network, where you can find podcasts and sweet merch like the Shot Boys T-shirt that you see right here. Ty, give him a little something. The Bubba T-shirt. There's a promo code, I believe, for that one. Is there? Is that still?
All the Shot Boys. Shot Boys get $5 off all the shirts in the shop. Shot Boys with a Z because we're gangsta.
Yep.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not wearing mine. I had a dinner tonight, so you had to wear a collared shirt.
Man. It sounds like a perfect scenario for like the Fuck Terry shirt or something.
Yeah, right. Thanks for putting the show in the network ahead of time, to promote easy promotion, but it's cool, we'll just move along.
By the way, on the strawberry IPA, overrated.
Is it?
Nothing about strawberry IPA sounds good, honestly. I like strawberries. I love IPAs. I don't think I want it in my IPA though.
Yeah, I was trying to help Mike out. Get a little strange when you're outside dining. The starting lineup, as you can see, is Bert. We got Ty. We got Mike. Gentlemen, good evening.
Hello.
Today we are going to continue our 2020 NFL offseason preview. We will be doing probably the best division in football, if not the most interesting, and that's the NFC West. We will also be ranking our top 5 tight ends going into the NFL season, and we will try to sit here with you, talk and create through a hypothetical NFL bubble, because it seems like they're not going to do one, and they probably should be doing one. So we'll try to figure out how to make it work here on Stuff About Sports. But of course, as usual, everybody, loosen up those muscles, practice your follow through. It's the warm up. Gentlemen, it's going down between Patrick Beverley's sister versus Paul George's stripper baby mom girlfriend, the battle that we've all been waiting for. Can you feel it? Can you feel that electricity? There was an on-court beef between Damian Lillard and Patrick Beverley and Paul George a couple days ago when Damian Lillard missed the game-winning free throws against the Clippers. Patrick Beverley is for somebody who was thoroughly mediocre in the NBA, seems to be involved in all the high-profile basketball players, and Ty coined Paul George as PG-13 injuries because he's always hurt, always jumping teams because he can't do it by himself. He's beta master Paul George. So there was a little barking between them after game, which involved Damian Lillard's sister basically slut-shaming Paul George's baby mom, saying, "You can't talk to anybody. You wifed a stripper," which in a lot of the black community is looked down upon. Well, the baby mom came with the clap back and said, "Shut your mouth, you fat whore." Who do you got in this battle of wits? We will start with Mike.
Oh, man.
Right up your wheelhouse, buddy.
Look, like I don't think it's fair for anybody to criticize somebody's past, right? So honestly, I think that's a low blow. I think she should have left that out. And also, I just strippers get paid a lot of money, so say what you want.
I should have qualified that by saying she was a Miami stripper, so I don't know if that does anything for you, because it sure does for me.
You're there for the wings then, not
no,
the
just
thigh.
the breast and thighs,
or the breast. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much all I got on this topic. Thanks for warming me up.
Thanks. Man.
Hold on, wait. So I'm sorry, I gotta cut it. Did you say it was Patrick Beverley?
It was. No, I'm sorry, Damian Lillard's sister.
Okay, yeah.
And
Damian
Patrick Beverley. Paul George's baby mom.
Yes. So I'll go. So yeah, I mean, I just saw the article for the first time, and yeah, you don't wipe the stripper. I think we all know that, and but some people do, and
Some people do, and they don't even get her, right? Like, how many guys in that atmosphere try to wife that person?
But there's so many scenarios though, like in terms of Kardashian, right? Like, I mean, Kanye married Kim Kardashian. Literally, she's a porn star, right? And then, I mean, Cardi B. I mean, look at Cardi B. She's wifed up by Quavo or whoever, but they love strippers, the Migos. So I guess he probably was born to marry a stripper. So, you know, it is what it is. Paul George, do you, man? But I hope you know that she's for the community. You know, she's for the whole block. Just don't get upset.
Look, if we're talking just beef here, I'm inclined, out of the goodness of my heart, to take the stripper side for many reasons. First and foremost, one, how dare you call someone out based on their profession? That girl works hard, and she worked hard
100%.
twice. Once as a stripper, and once to make sure she's set for the rest of her life by having that baby. So another thing is too, man, dude, strippers deal with a lot of like grown ass, handsy, like big ass, grotesque men that the only thing that they can get off to is going to a strip club. So I mean, you better believe if she can handle, you know, just dudes getting handsy and tossing them over to the bouncer, you know, then I bet she can definitely handle this other chick, plain and simple. So I'm going stripper.
Yeah, Miami, one of the most dangerous cities in America, and if you can make it through and be successful to strip in a location where NBA players are frequenting, you have a leg up on the competition. That's like growing up in New York City is different than growing up in like Bossier City, Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're both from the city, but one of them's really from the city. So this chick knows what she's doing down there. Dame Lillard, I don't even like you anyway because you're nothing but a crybaby. You did all that crying, and Portland's not even going to make the playoffs. So how about you and your stupid fat sister just keep your mouth shut and leave other people alone and let them do whatever makes them happy? You jerks, leave her alone. Go strippers. We support the stripper profession and the stripper community. Atlanta Braves used Michael Jackson's song Beat It as Reese McGuire's walk-up music after a story broke that Reese was caught in a parking lot pleasing himself. I will use this term carefully. Was that a heady play?
The Atlanta Braves has an organist that loves to troll people.
Another great term for this story, an organist. Be careful. Go.
Yeah, so he used to with Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores learned how to speak English by watching Friends, so they would play the Friends theme music. Pete Alonso last week in Atlanta, he played Winnie the Pooh, and he also played the theme song to Family Guy. And that kind of annoyed me because they were alluding to him being obese, you know? So, like, or lazy, or Peter Griffin, or Winnie the Pooh. None of these guys are big, giant polar bear type guys, right? They're, like, downplaying them into a teddy bear or a fat guy. So,
yes, that's what a troll does.
Yeah, not a fan of it, but I wish I had it in my... I wish we did it, you know? So, I don't know.
Look, I think it was an awesome move. I'm sorry, I'll jump in. I thought it's absolutely hilarious, right? So, I mean, not only are you trolling them, you're playing walk-up music in your home ballpark just to obviously get at his ego. I mean, without fans there, it's the best possible thing you can do to try to get into a player's head. And song choice, brilliant, obviously. I mean, what other songs could you possibly play there? Maybe like Chuck Berry's My Ding-a-Ling or anything else. I honestly don't know, but I think that's absolutely hysterical, and this should go on the record book as being one of the biggest troll jobs ever.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's a perfect song for the perfect moment, and I applaud them.
The only thing that would make it better is if it was a pianist who did the song instead of an organist. So hashtag we want to play. Trevor Lawrence, college football Jesus, coming through, stepping up, the face of college football for at least one more year. Basically said, I'm gonna paraphrase, fuck this COVID shit. We're safer playing college football. Now we could have a show dedicated arguing what's more dangerous. I will lump college into professional football, but playing high level football or coronavirus. I'm sure we could have a good argument on both sides and come away with something good, and we still wouldn't agree, but both people could be right. But in this instance, does Trevor Lawrence have a point here? Because we've seen Big Ten cancel, Pac-12, like always, riding on the coattails of the Big Ten because the Pac-12 can't do anything on their own. They have to wait to see what the Big Ten is going to do. Does Trevor Lawrence have a point that college kids are safer on campus within the confines of their universities rather than going home and being left to their own devices? Mike's not paying attention. Bert.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, he has a point. I don't agree with his point, but I'm not. I mean, it's tough, right? So look, the thing with saying that it's safer for them to play and be held on campus means that you're trusting every single person on that roster is going to abide by the rules that are set forth by the school and the football team to follow, whether that's them on the road or them on their own institution. Now, saying it's more safe than being at home, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how many times have you seen on college campus, especially if they're letting students on campus, like still with these parties because they're choosing not to abide by coronavirus guidelines. So I don't think it's more safe. I'll tell you what it is, though. If they do decide, well, I mean, we already know that they decided to cancel, but forcing to have a college program is more a football program, and football season is more of a liability, not only on the NCAA, but on the school in itself. It's one thing to cancel and send a student home and saying, look, you're at your own risk, make your best decisions, just be safe, rather than bring them there because you're having a season. Now you're inadvertently forcing them to play. Now, no, they have the chance, or they have the, they have the opportunity to opt out if they don't want to play. But by having a season, you're basically saying, we'll try our best to protect you. But guess what? If you end up getting it because someone slips up, that's a liability on them, plain and simple. So I know the players want to play. It's up to the schools and the NCAA to make that decision on whether or not it's best for them. And I think the reason we're seeing so many different conferences in college football cancel is because they don't want that liability. It's going to take one kid to get gravely ill from coronavirus for a lawsuit to happen and spread like wildfire all throughout, plain and simple.
Go on, Mike.
I think it's a financial thing with not enough fans. So if they can't have the fans and this, all the money they make off of that, it's almost like, well, why have it? Especially in football, those arenas are packed, like more attendance than an NFL game, the TV deals are good, but I think they're also realizing that there's going to be a lot less advertising as well. So I think it's more finances than anything, or like you said, the lawsuits that could come out of a potential year of filled with COVID and students getting it or opting out and stuff like that. So I just think that comes down to the almighty dollar more so than anything. From a business standpoint, they're just like, let's pump our brakes and take a year off. So
yes, they're in an interesting situation. And this is way different than professional sports because they're not professionals and they're not being paid. So that's like a whole wrench in the equation that's throwing it off. Because last week we were talking about it. I'm like, if your profession is sports, you go to your profession. And the league should create a bubble. They should protect players and all that kind of stuff. But it's hard to ask a college kid to do that when they're freaking kids. And not even as that, they're not being paid. So it's weird for like college sports knows it. NCAA knows it. They're like, man, we're going to go and make a whole bunch of money off these guys again. And then they're going to be at even more risk. Forget injury. Now they're going to be at risk for the coronavirus. So that makes them look really bad, right? Like that makes NCAA look stupid because you guys are pocketing so much money off these players. And I think this is now it's even more eye opening that you guys make so much money and the players make nothing. So, it's a tough situation, man. It's a tough situation. I get both sides, and for them not to be paid, sit out, man. Like, no, I'm not going out here and risking myself for you guys. I'm not even getting paid.
This is the planets aligning, and I will say on the front end, I agree with Trevor Lawrence. In a vacuum, it is safer for all the students to be congregated in essentially a loose bubble at school in a controlled environment. You were able to control. You can put all the football players in a condensed class. You can put them separately housed, saying, "Hey, no off-campus living. You got to live here." You know, we've seen it in baseball. You know, these people are left to their own devices, and the two entire teams have to get their rosters turned over because all of them got coronavirus. So I agree with him that the kids are probably more safe at school than they are at home. If your concern is them catching coronavirus and spreading it to the school. But the planets are aligning here. This is the perfect moment and the rare opportunity that college football players who get paid $0 for giving up their bodies to form some type of players association that can iron out these types of details. They will never get a more opportunity, because what's going to happen is they're going to come up to these negotiations with nobody who can truly represent them, and they're not going to get nearly what they can out of this entire situation. So don't play for free. I don't care what you get something. Fight for the future college players that aren't going to be affected by this, because now's the time that college football players are going to have the leverage to make real change, not just for college football, but for all college sports. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I hope that I know that they can't form a player. Maybe they can form a players association. I'm not sure how that all works, but now's the time to do it. If they can push that, you're not going to get a better opportunity, because now's the only time college football players truly have the leverage, because they can simply say, we're not playing. Fuck you guys. And nobody's going to say anything bad about it. So
we just had a baseball player leave his team to go out, leave the hotel, and like now he's got to quarantine for 2 weeks, and he got on the team plane. So imagine a college student. They're going to be partying. They're going to be doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. So that's even more of a liability there. If you can't get an athlete that's paid millions of dollars to just sit in a hotel room, get paid, like Ty was saying last week, do your job, then go home. Like, that's it. That's all you got to do. Treat it like a business now. So them sitting in that hotel room, although it sucks, they're doing that to provide for their families, you know, and to provide safely for their families. So by them not doing that on a professional level, imagine what a college kid's going to do, you know?
Yeah. More reason why they should be staying their ass on campus, and where the schools and the football teams and the programs can kind of control the flow of what's going in and out and what they can do. All right, so that does it for the warm-up. Where do you guys want to start? You want to do the preview, tight ends, or the NFL bubble?
I just don't want to go first anymore. I don't like this move.
I say let's do preview first, because we can. Okay. I feel like we can fly through that a little bit.
Okay.
I have a feeling we're all going to have similar lists, so.
Gotcha. All right, so NFL preview, NFC West. It's agreed that it's the best division in football, right? Like, I don't think it's
yeah.
I mean, certainly one of the closest, yes.
Yeah, if it's not number one, it's number two or 1A or 1B or however people phrase it. Last year, we'll start with the defending NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers. It's when I was doing my research for this particular team, I was trying to look at their weak spot, because that's the only team in the division that got worse. And by worse, they lost 3 Pro Bowlers, right? They traded DeForest Buckner away, right? Joe Staley retired, and they let Emmanuel Sanders go to New Orleans. And the only thing they got back, really, is Trent Williams from Washington. So you can't lose 3 Pro Bowlers and only gain 1 back. And compared to what the other teams did, you didn't really get any better. You actually got visibly worse. And their biggest problem for me is Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's the weakest point of that team, because and it sounds strange because he just was in the Super Bowl, but he's the reason they lost that Super Bowl. They had a 10-point lead, and I don't know what happened there. He just fell apart. And it's weird because that success of that team, I don't know about you guys. I watched the 49ers, and I really felt like anybody could have quarterbacked that team. I really didn't feel like Jimmy Garoppolo won them any games. So how do you guys feel about that?
I think that's a bold statement to say that their quarterback didn't really win them any games. I mean, you've got to admit he has talent and he works well with the coach too. So, I mean, I don't – it'd be tough for me to argue that he's the weakest link. But, I mean, if your quarterback on a, championship caliber team – not say caliber because they made it to the Super Bowl but didn't win – but if your quarterback that takes you to the Super Bowl – is their weakest link, then I'd say they're doing okay because the quarterback is the one position in football that is pretty important. So, I mean, if it is your weakest link, then let's say, a good days ahead. It could only get better, right?
Yeah, if we had an organist on this show trying to troll people, it'd be my man on top up there.
What?
So, you just come on. Garoppolo is interchangeable as a quarterback.
Yeah, he's interchangeable.
It's a great team. It's a great team. He is not the best player on his team. I agree with that, but I think he's a great quarterback, and I think that it'd be pretty hard for them to replace him.
Could Kirk Cousins be on that team, and would they still be in the Super Bowl? Do you think?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is good though.
I think of Garoppolo as Kirk Cousins, so that's
what I'm saying. Like,
no,
and I'm not trying to slight
Kirk
Kirk
Cousins. I put Jimmy
Cousins.
above Kirk Cousins. I do.
No,
it's not to slight Kirk Cousins. I just think he's a better quarterback.
But what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to pick not somebody who's noticeably bad, but somebody who's not noticeably great either. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to pick the thoroughly mediocre guy. Like, that's what I'm saying, though. When you compare him to the other three quarterbacks, is he the worst quarterback in the division?
Yes.
No. You've got to be kidding me. You think
Yes.
Jimmy Garoppolo is worse than Kyler Murray?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Get out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yes. Yo, if Kyler Murray was on that team, they would have won a Super Bowl. They would have won a Super Bowl.
Oh my
with Kyler
God.
Murray.
All right,
think-
pump the brakes.
I'm with you.
I'm not. No, as a rookie, no, I wouldn't. I can't. I'm lying. As a rookie, I wouldn't say that. If Kyler Murray had 2 years under his belt, I mean, Garoppolo is not a rookie, right? By any stretch of the imagination, he's been learning underneath the goddamn best coach and quarterback in the world. So he's far from a rookie. He should be there. And I think Kyler Murray with a year under his belt, 2 years under his belt, easily is better than Garoppolo.
Well,
I mean, we'll see, especially after this season, because
We gotta see
when
this
they beat the Falcons, I mean, he now has a real receiver he can throw to. So there's a good chance that Kyler Murray is going to evolve into top 10 quarterback. Let's play it. You give him a weapon like that. Let's see what he does with it.
If I had to pick, I'd pick in
Holy
Kyler
shit,
without hesitation. If I had to pick today.
We're going to do the Cardinals next because there's some things I got to say about Kyler Murray and all this offseason love he's been getting. So a couple things. The Niners, they traded up for Brandon Ayuk. I know he was talented. I'm not a big fan of trading up for for skill players like that, but we'll see. They're going to need him. I mean, it's going to be him because they don't have any other receivers. He did get graded the same as CeeDee Lamb, which I don't understand that because I don't watch a lot of college football, but I've studied all the skill players, and this Brandon kid never even showed up on my radar. So, but I'll leave it to the professionals. A lot of these guys had him graded as high as CeeDee Lamb. So the only thing I can say about that is he better work out. They let go Carlos Hyde. They're gonna ride with Raheem Mostert, and they brought in Tevin Coleman. They have a new offensive line. They got Trent Williams. You pair that with Greg Kittle, and then you have this Brandon Ayuk kid. We'll see. I mean, it's really at the end of the day, it's still Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Like he's the question mark. Like he's got to step up.
I said that all year last year, and he kept shutting me up. So I can't let. I'm no longer going to. I mean, I still think he's worse than the other three because I think the other three are that good. But I trust Garoppolo on that team because of that team. Is he? If you take him off that team and put him somewhere else, is he good? Of course not. I look at them very similar to the Titans in terms of I love the coach. I love how they run their plays. Mike Shanahan will make that work. He's not going to put it all on Garoppolo's shoulders, but at the same time, you're going to see what's going to happen in the playoffs. He's going to have to take a step forward and actually win a game, and we'll see if he's able to do that or not. But I think he's capable enough. You've seen Eli win Super Bowls, man. Like you've seen Eli Manning win Super Bowls.
Don't you ever disrespect the Eli the God.
I'm just saying you get a good team, you get a good game scheme, you get a good coaching, you get good defense, you can make things happen. And I think Garoppolo is capable enough.
The 49ers
It's tough
were
to say that
13
he is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. One last thing about Garoppolo, and the easiest thing is to look as the season before when you had another quarterback in that division play in a Super Bowl and put up a giant goose egg and had like the second lowest pass rating in any Super Bowl game. And we're going to sit here, not me, but some of us are going to sit here and act like Jimmy Garoppolo is the weakest quarterback in this division. I just refuse to believe it. That's my final 2 cents on that. But I mean, look, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, who knows? By like week 3, everybody could be like, dude, see, you're totally on his D and now he's trash. So we'll see.
The 49ers were 13-3 last year. Real quick, guys. Do you think they will be the same or under? Like if you had to bet, will they hit 13-3, or how many games do you think they'll get out of this division or out of this season?
I'm not giving him 13. I'll give him 11. I'll give him 11.
That's what I was going to do. Yeah, I was going to give him 11.
They have to win. You're going to match it? I mean, listen, they're going to have to get, I mean, just to win the division, I got to imagine it's got to take at least 12. So, I picked them to win the division in our too soon predictions. Obviously, a lot has happened to that division since we did that, which is why it was the way too early season predictors. Ty picked the Seahawks. I picked the Niners. So I'm going to say match 13 wins. They're going to surprise us like they were the surprise of last season. Last season, from the beginning to the end of the year, I mean, I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but for the regular season, they were the best team in football. From week 1 to week 16. So we'll see. We'll see what Emmanuel Sanders, Joe Staley, and DeForest Buckner really mean. So let's do the Cardinals next.
Actually, the regular IPA.
Give them the regular IPA. We don't want that garbage.
Don't want that strawberry.
Hey, we now go live to Mike stalking outside some woman's house. Mike, how you doing out there?
Hey, Mike, what kind of?
Feels so creepy.
Are you on a ladder on her second floor bedroom window? What are you doing up there?
I should have muted my mic. That was disrespectful.
What's you're good, man. You're
good.
Kyler Murray, I don't understand the hype. So, Ty, you seem to have a lot of love for him. I was infuriated by like CBS Sports, NBC Sports, anytime they did these. And I'm the first to admit, these like preseason rankings, these top lists that these guys come out with, they don't mean anything. I know that. But every time I see Kyler Murray above Josh Allen on all these lists, I want to punch puppies in the face. I want to do it. Why? What is it about Kyler Murray, 5 wins and a tie Kyler Murray, that makes people think that he's like,
come on, man,
the truth?
Listen, I'm not calling him the truth. I'm definitely not. I will speak first, since I guess.
But you understand what I'm saying. You see the same stuff.
I wouldn't put him. Well, honestly, I haven't seen much. I haven't been watching much ESPN and seen what people are saying in the streets. But I do know Kyler's gotten a lot of love. I mean, prior to when he was the number 1 pick, but obviously he's getting tons of love in the press. But I wouldn't put him. I mean, I hope people aren't putting him above people like Josh Allen. I'm not putting him up there. I do think Josh Allen's way more proven, obviously, and he's proven it. And he's it's similar to Kyler Murray in terms of his mobility and arm strength. I think Kyler Murray has a lot. That's why I think people rank him high, is because he has a lot of those intangibles. Is just waiting for him to develop more. So that's why I'm comfortable saying I've seen Garoppolo play enough to be like, all right, I'm cool with Kyler. Like I would really to bet on his talents developing mentally with the right coaching staff or something. I'm willing to bet on him and his intangibles over somebody else. I think that's where he's getting his love from, is he's like tons and tons of potential. That's what it is. But he's not as good as some of these other quarterbacks that are proven and have played multiple years, clearly. So you do have to pump the brakes a little bit on Kyler Murray, but you can't pump the brakes on his talent. Like, this guy is unbelievable.
we
Look,
followed
despite his
him.
record, he was voted offensive rookie of the year. On top of that, I mean, 5 wins, but if you look at him overall in the season, I think he threw for over 3,500 and 500 rushing too. So, I mean, I think he's getting a lot of praise, like Ty said, because he has the potential to be great if you put the right pieces around him. When you think about it, there are very few rookie quarterbacks that come in straight out the draft in the league and are successful without a learning year and a learning curve, because the shittiest teams get the highest draft picks, and if you're good enough quarterback, that's where you're going. So there's going to be some work that needs to be done to put the right pieces around him, to say the least.
The Bills are a really good team, right? Like, outside of Josh Allen, they're a really good team. I mean, imagine Kyler Murray on that team. Would they be any worse or better? I can't say that. Like,
they'd be worse because I don't believe that Kyler Murray is better than Josh Allen. But so here's the thing, though. I don't like, and this is where people seem to get confused. If you're a quarterback, your stats, if your team is sub 500, they shouldn't count. Bro, of course you have 3,500 yards. Your team is always losing, so you have to throw the ball more. Of course you have a lot of rushing yards because you have no offensive line. You have to run around. Those stats don't mean anything. It just means you have a lot of garbage points. Like, it's like, Blake Bortles.
The thing with stats and data is you can skew it to anything. On a pass-heavy offense, you can say that quarterback has way too many interceptions. Yeah, well, no shit. They're a pass-heavy offense.
But would you say that would you say the Cardinals were a pass-happy team, or were they just a bad team that was always losing? They had to pass more. Okay, then.
I think they were a bad team, but that doesn't. But you can't say the stats are a wash, because just because their team is bad, it doesn't mean that he's not making those completions. Granted, he's going to have to throw because they're behind. I get it, but his talent in seeing the option or making those completions, being able to actually complete a play despite being just trounced every single game, I think it's worth something, and I think it speaks to his talent too.
Yeah,
and
can't
Murray's
have
got a lot
5 wins.
to prove.
Go ahead, Mike.
Because, he gave up guaranteed baseball money to pursue being a quarterback in the NFL. So he would have made more money out the gate signing with Oakland. But, now, obviously, he's could set himself up to make $200 million, as a quarterback in his career. So I think he's got a lot to prove, just knowing and watching him from a baseball standpoint. And just watching how competitive he is. Ty and I were covering him week by week with his decision and what he was going to do, whether take the NFL route or take the MLB route. And I'm proud of him for taking the NFL route, and I'm rooting for him. I think he's going to be an amazing quarterback in this league, personally.
Side note, random MLB 60 game champion. We're going to get a random champion in this 60 game bubble, and it's going to be the Oakland Athletics. Yeah, the COVID. No, it's definitely going to be the Oakland Athletics. So Kaz on social says that the Niners are going to be 10-6. He says that Garoppolo is the second best quarterback in the division. Not
he's got to have Russ at 1 then.
wow.
Oh yeah. Russ is definitely 1. We all agree on that.
Of course.
So he has Murray last. So he also has the Niners 10-6. He has the Cardinals at 6-10. That's that. Okay, so let's quickly go through what they did. I mean, obviously DeAndre Hopkins is the biggest thing. They have one of the best wide receivers in the game. If he's, I think I had him at 4th, Ty had him at 3rd or whatever. He's top 5 in the league, wherever you have him. The one thing I think they did well, they drafted really well. I think they're the most improved team in the division because they made smart draft picks. They addressed their offensive line. They addressed some of their defense. They got a number 1 receiver. DeAndre Hopkins, was it a lopsided trade? Yep. Is Bill O'Brien the stupidest GM of all time? Yep.
Mm-hmm. And racist.
And racist.
Yep.
And he has a butt chin, but that's neither here nor there. But it's something.
Yo, that was as a kid. Did anybody else get scared whether or not they had a butt chin?
No, but
they're scary.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying every cartoon villain and every bad guy in the shows growing up had a butt chin. All right, I'm just putting the science out there. I'm just, I don't know. But so the one thing I noticed when I was doing my deep dive, they got Josh Jones, a tackle, in the 3rd round who was the 14th ranked prospect by Pro Football Focus. I mean, talk about everything going right for you at a position, a key position they need. They had the worst offensive line in football last year. They're probably going to have one of the better ones. The problem they're going to have, what a lot of teams have, and the Seahawks are going to run into this problem too. When you add elite talent to your mediocre team or a team that's already established, how is that going to, like, the key is to just make it work out. You can't just throw good people on a team, especially in football. We just learned that from the Cleveland Browns. You can't just throw a team out there.
Or the Rams.
Or the Rams, for instance. Yeah, Rams is a good example too. You can't just throw elite talent out there without trying to figure out how it's going to work. So Larry Fitzgerald's out there, DeAndre Hopkins. If it's going to work, it's going to work in Arizona because Larry Fitzgerald is the
because Fitzgerald's exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're forgetting they're being led by the Ryan Gosling of head coaches, Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, that's
scary.
Is just dripping.
This division has the best looking head coaches in the football, right? This division between McVay and Kingsbury.
Oh, word. Yo.
Don't put Carroll in there, though.
Carroll, for old man.
Carroll looks like he'd fuck all our moms right now.
I can't see past his crazy conspiracy theorist mind. So that's it.
Oh, no, he's nuts. I'm just saying, he looks like Myrtle Beach. Like, if Myrtle Beach was a guy, it'd be Pete Carroll.
No, he has that George Clooney vibe, though, for real. He has that George Clooney vibe.
Yeah.
Like, he really does have the old man swag, for real.
Yo, he doesn't deserve to even take a piss next to George Clooney. Fuck that.
Don't talk about the best Batman to ever live. So there's pressure on Kyler Murray, right? DeAndre Hopkins is there now. You have one of the hottest coaches, not hot like in looks, but like coming out in college.
Now I don't know.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
You have both. You have one of the best looking head coaches, and you had one of the hottest sought after coaches and coming into NFL from college in a long time. The pressure's on Kyler. The Cardinals did everything right for you, and now it's on you, buddy. Like, you have to perform now. You have to be the hype that everybody is, to me, prematurely giving you. So we'll see if that's just like, if he's the real deal or if that was just stat padding at a nice level. I like the kid. I think he's one of those guys that carries himself well. He seems to do everything right. So we will see. Kaz has Murray as the last quarterback in this division, which I would probably rank him last, just like Bert was saying. It's just not enough time yet. We got to see. Second year guys, you know how that works out. Like, I get that it's kind of hard to say it now because the last two second-year guys are NFL MVPs and Patrick Mahomes and
Lamar Jackson.
So that's a high bar, but I mean, that's kind of like...
Yo, but you know what, though? He literally can. Like, with his talent and his surrounding pieces, there's no reason why he can't put up crazy numbers next season. Because it's not even just Fitz and DeAndre. They got Christian Kirk. They have a really good receiving core.
Kenyon Drake is there as their running back. I think they drafted another running back early, and I believe
he has the potential, especially if he runs too. He has the potential to put up some crazy numbers. So, like, it wouldn't be surprising to see him get MVP, man.
So we'll see.
You know what? I'm about to put a bet in because that's probably crazy odds. I'm putting a bet in on Kyler Murray for MVP. Thank you, Jamal, for bringing that to my attention because the last two were second-year players. God damn it.
Hey, listen, man, you know how we do. They were 5-10-1 last year. So what do you got? Over, under, or the same?
Over.
What do you think?
I'll give him over.
I'm giving him 6. 6
or 7.
Give him
7.
Yeah, I'm going 6 or 7.
7 wins? So, you know, it's weird because you don't – it's one of those years, it's one of those teams where they could win 5 games again or they could, like, win 11 or 12. And I probably wouldn't be that surprised based on the talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I doubt it.
But playing the Niners and the Seahawks and even the Rams is tough. It's a tough division.
That's the Rams' problem. They're good. I don't think they're great like the Seahawks and the Niners are. So we might as well just do the Rams now. Their problem is the Rams' problem, and like the Cardinals, but to a more degree, their division is just too fucking good at the top. Like, it's just think about it. They were one missed field goal away from even making the playoffs. It wasn't like it was a disappointing season because the first McVay year was just like, oh my God, they had 12 wins. People were expecting them to be in the Super Bowl. And then they only had 9 last year. So But I'm trying to look real quick on my research. What did they do in the draft? I'm pretty sure they had a decent draft. But even without that stuff, their rookies that had last year, they had a lot of injuries, and their rookies actually stepped in to do well. Taylor Rapp, Bobby Evans, Dave Edwards, they're all going to be starters. Cooper Kupp, if he can stay healthy, Cooper Kupp can be a top 10 receiver. I believe that in my soul. He's one of the best route runners I've ever seen. Maybe not ever, but like the best route runner in recent memory in modern NFL football. He always seems to get open, and I don't think he has any type of physical attributes that make him like he's not Julio Jones or whatever, like Odell Beckham, but he gets open. He's like just a great route runner. His hands are good. He catches pretty much everything that gets thrown at him. We'll see. Like I said, they had a lot of sloppy games. They lost a lot of one possession, less than 7-point games. So the Rams, guys, what do you think the Rams need to do besides win games? I know that's the obvious thing, but who do you think needs to step up for the Rams?
I think what I need to start doing is like a scary story, because he just keeps getting darker and darker over here.
So, no, I'm waiting for a guy in a scream mask to like fucking come up behind you,
right? Yeah.
Slice your throat.
Sorry.
They need to.
I think they just need to stay healthy. That's what you said before. So I think they have the right pieces together. They've made some decent moves in the offseason, but it's a matter of them staying healthy. And even more so now, especially with what's going on with this whole coronavirus thing. And I think if they do that and they gel, I think they'll be in good shape. I mean, they're going to be vying for one of the top spots in this division. So
you asked about their draft, and I think this is I'm seeing it now. And they drafted Cam Akers, running back from Florida State, in the second round.
No. Cam Akers was on the Chargers. He's on there. What? I think
it says he's a 20
now.
It says he's a 2020 draft pick. So maybe it says a 2020 draft pick.
Is it? I thought Akers was the running back from the Chargers last year.
Either way, that's exactly what I had to look up who the running back was after they lost Gurley, and I'm like, that's what they got to figure out is a running game, because they didn't pick up anybody. What they need to do is sign a running back. That's what they need to do. They need to sign a running back. They need a Gurley kind of guy.
No, you're right, Ty. My bad. I don't know. There's an Akers on the Chargers that's also a running back. I don't know if they're related.
You're talking Eckler?
I'm thinking
Eckler
of Austin
or
Eckler. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah. So Cam I'm not too familiar with him. Cam Akers, second round pick, running back. Hopefully he can be that guy. Rookie running backs is tough because you got to block too, and you got to know the schemes. It's running back's a tough position, but that's what I worry about with them is like they need a running game, because Goff, I like Goff. It's similar to Garoppolo. I mean, I'm not trusting him to win me the game though, but I trust him more than Garoppolo. And they need a running game. That's what they need. That's what their bread and butter was essentially with Gurley. Like that's what got them good. Though those past couple of years was Gurley like just eating up so many yards. They need to establish that again. They have Darrell Henderson. He's a big guy. He's really good. He's a really good like second back. Like he's really good complementary back. But he needed an every down back, and maybe Cam Akers can be that guy. So I got to look into him and see if he's the real deal or not. But that's what they need, I think.
Man, they're projecting him to start. Man, they are. Yeah. They have a lot of faith.
That's
in this
scary.
kid.
That's scary.
Out of Florida State.
But I mean, hey, we've seen it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Bert. Go ahead. I was just saying, he was in Florida State. Yeah, he was dope. He's a speedy back. He's exactly probably what they need for that type of offense that McVay likes to run. So, go ahead, Bert. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, we've had some success with backs in the league before, come out of the draft and do good. We'll highlight Saquon here. Now, I don't think he's on the same level, but for what they need right now, I think he can get the job done. So, look, at the end of the day, they dropped Gurley, right? And as good as he was also injury prone and basically hurt every other week. Anybody who's drafted Todd Gurley within the past 3 seasons on their fantasy team knows that. So, look, they're obviously going to run some type of like rotational set. So, you may not see him full time, but he's leading to be the starter. But we'll see what camp happens and when preseason hits too, because that's when some wild changes get made.
Yeah. The biggest thing that the Rams need to do, especially to win the division, or be at least competitive, is Jared Goff needs to stop acting better than he actually is. Because I don't think he's a bad quarterback. But there were some throws last year that he was trying to make that he just can't make. And I think he was just trying to be the man too much. You have the best player in football on your team in Aaron Donald. You have Jalen Ramsey. That defense, the defense is the strength of the Rams now. It's not you. It's not the offense. Let the defense dictate the game, and you just don't go out there and fuck it up. Goff this year, he's about to enter Jameis Winston territory for me. Where you should be like, I know that you have the talent to be good, and you are not good. It doesn't make sense. It's like Seth Rogen. Like, you do all this funny stuff, but you yourself are not funny. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. It's like a weird mix. Like, how can you have all this talent, and I can see the talent, but you're a loser, bro? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Kaz says it was a fluke year. Well, you know, I don't want to confuse a fluke year. I don't think he had a fluke year. I just think he tried to do. I think the pressure got to him, and he tried to do too much on his own instead of trusting McVay, who is also kind of on the, like, this is a make or break year for the entire team. Like, McVay, are you a flash in the pan, or are you a really good coach? Are you this innovator that we all kind of crowned you? That's why, like, you hear me every week we come on here, and I try to level out this early crowning that, when I say you guys, I mean the world. Like, we've all seen it. Like, we've crowned so many people early. It's like, all right, well, let's wait. How about we just wait a minute? It's okay. Like, yes, we can appreciate how great McVay and the Rams were in that 12-4 season, but also say, well, what's happening now, buddy? Like, what have you done for me lately? So it's kind of make or break.
Yeah,
for everybody.
but you look at them; they had a Super Bowl caliber year the year before, so it's tough to go. And I'm sure the mindset in Goff was like, look, I have to be the same, if not better, and because. Aside from the Patriots, what other team have you seen that has a long window of not even just getting to the Super Bowl, but possibly winning it? You know, the Pats have been really the only consistent team where year over year, you're like, they could do it again. Every other team that's come in and won within the past decade, you're always just like, all right, it was a good run, but the year after, players retire, players go elsewhere. You know, it is what it is. So I think, you know, when we're looking at the year they had before and what they did last year, yes, it was incredibly disappointing. I wouldn't put Jared Goff in Jameis Winston territory, though. That's
no, I said he's
that's
approaching.
like Matt Leinart territory.
Like, he's approaching that because the drop off was so bad. It's like, I think you're good. I just don't know if you're good or not. Like, you can't throw 30 touchdowns and then 30 interceptions, and like, I can't call you good, even though throwing 30 touchdowns is pretty fucking impressive too. Like, I don't know what you are. Like, I don't know what you're like, Jameis. Sorry, buddy. Like, I know that you have the talent to be good, but I can only go by what you're showing me on the field, and what you're showing me is you're not good. So, you know, it's and that's why he's not the quarterback there anymore. So Jared Goff, obviously, they gave him that huge contract. I don't know. You know, I don't know if it's probably a little bit too early to call it a mistake. What I'm saying is, you're on notice. It's like, you know what Jared Goff is? Just like Jameis Winston. Jared Goff is the hot chick that you're courting all night at the club. The rack is nice. The dress is tight. Everything's going. The hair smells good. You get her to the hotel, and she might as well be a pillow. You know what I'm saying? Like, she might just laying there like a dead fish.
Oh, God.
That's Jared Goff as a quarterback.
Jesus.
So now let's quickly. I mean, we don't really have to do a deep dive. Oh, they were 9-7, the Rams. So what do you guys think? Over, under, or the same?
I'm gonna give him 11.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going same.
Under.
Man, Mike, you know what? I was gonna say under because I feel like there has to be a real big disappointment in that division. Yeah. And I think, and I can't. Obviously, each of these teams play each other twice, so I can't say the Cardinals are going to have a 2 or 3 game bump, and the Niners are going to win 12 games. Right. And of course, the last team we're going to quickly run through because there's really nothing to say about the Seahawks. They're probably going to win 12 games, so somebody has to lose, 9 games or less or 8 games or less, and it's probably going to be the Rams. They're heading in the wrong direction. And
like you said, they didn't replace Todd Gurley. Like, they don't have.
Well, they think they did with Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson did well for them last year. Just Darrell Henderson's not an every down back, so.
And he's not he's not a household name. You know what I mean? And
Todd
maybe
Gurley's not even an everyday back. Todd Gurley, Well, let me tell you
But
something.
he's a
about Todd
household
Gurley.
name. He's a household name.
Overrated. Todd Gurley's
All
overrated.
right.
Not when he was playing. He's hurt now,
Not
though,
if
right? But
you
he had
replace him.
arthritis and stuff. He does have injury issues, and he's
You're
no longer
30
what
years
he was.
old with arthritis. Enough said.
He was arthritis. He had
Overrated.
arthritis in college, I think, didn't he?
Thank you, Ty, for even strengthening my argument. Todd
Yeah.
Gurley.
I'm in an
Overrated.
undisclosed
Dude, he had
area.
arthritis and still got drafted and played in the National Football League. I think the dude's a beast. I mean, look, his
He
time
did
is up
very
in,
well
you
when he
know, in
played.
LA, but
And
yeah.
Hold on.
all
Let
stuff
me
is
see when
gone.
Todd Gurley draft. Let's see when he was drafted. 2015. Yeah, the Rams drafted him for 5 years in arthritis. Hi, you want to? Todd Gurley's in the all bust class with Andrew Luck.
And when they
Get
won
outta here.
when they won all those games, the reason why was because Todd Gurley ran a lot of yards, caught a lot of balls for a lot of yards. He put up tons of yards.
Yeah.
So don't
Yeah,
take that
he
away
used
from
to-
him. Stop.
He used to guzzle up the balls. That's all I know.
Is he good now? No, he's hurt. He's injured. We all agree with that. But don't take away his greatness when he played. He put up tons of yards,
Agreed.
tons of stats. He did very well. He's the reason why they won all those games.
Yeah, great.
And
great.
maybe
Drafted
his-
him 5 years. So the Seattle Seahawks are probably going to win this division, and we all know why, right? His name's Russell Wilson. Just had a baby with Sierra. Shout out to him. I mean, he's winning everywhere in the world. He can't do no wrong.
I think the Niners are the
guys-
favorites, though, man, aren't they?
I'm getting kicked out of this area. So
Yeah.
I love you. I'm gonna give my game ball before I leave too.
Yeah, go, Mike. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So it goes to Ryan Christensen. Say that 100 times.
Ryan Christensen.
Yeah, he's a coach that apparently thought it was a good idea to put the Nazi salute. I'm not even gonna do it instead of doing an elbow bump or whatever during I guess a victory celebration or a home run celebration. So the guys were coming off the field. He's a hitting coach, and he decided to do the Nazi salute. And then
So
somebody told him
he hailed Hitler?
yeah, while the
Oh,
guys were
no.
coming in, instead of doing an air five or whatever, he decided
I'm watching
to hail
it.
Hitler.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
what is he doing?
Right,
And they're
so,
standing
It's a
with their
bad
ankles.
look.
Dog, they're
Horrible look,
standing
and then he
with
does
their
it
ankles
again.
touching and everything.
Wait, what's his
Yeah,
name? I
and
gotta
he-
look it up.
and he told him not to do it again. Ryan Christensen.
Why are you giving the game ball, Mike? I'm pissed. What are you
I was just about to ask, why are you giving him the game ball?
Because I always have a funny way to do it. Oakland A's he plays for. He's the coach, one of the coaches.
Oh no! Look at him hailing
But,
Hitler.
Look, he
So
thinks it's hilarious, bro, and everybody's like, oh.
does. He
And look
thought
at the
he was
coach
funny.
behind him. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing, guy?"
Uh,
Like,
But
wow.
but I love you guys.
Unbelievable.
All
right,
have a good show. I leave you with that.
yeah,
Love you, man.
Clean up after that. I love you.
Give him the game bat.
yeah, jeez,
Have
man.
fun at your cult.
Yeah, fucking children of the corn over there. Look at Mike.
Yeah.
So, the Seahawks had 12 wins last year. They lost they had 11 wins last year. They lost to the Packers in the divisional round. I mean, you want to talk about a franchise doing it right? It took them 2 years to turn over that. They didn't even do a rebuild. They just kind of mixed some things around and bided their time, and they pieced together what they lost. You know, they effectively chose Russell Wilson over the Legion of Boom, and I mean that's a gamble because that defense was probably one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Top 3, top 5, wherever, whatever. And they put it on Russ, man. They put all their chips on the Russ side, and it worked out. It's worked out for them so far. So, they had, and the other impressive thing is they're still going to end up with Jadeveon Clowney after all of this, and they're not going to have to pay him as much. They took his money that he thought he was owed, and they brought back old Seahawks players to shore up the defense. They drafted well. They brought in some low-level free agents just in case Clowney left, so they're covered, and they're still probably going to end up with Clowney because Clowney realized he's not nearly as good as he thinks he is, or at least worth what he thinks he's worth. And he'll probably end up on his hands and knees groveling to remain with the Seahawks. They did bring in the remains of Greg Olsen at tight end. Not sure what he's going to be able to do up there in Seattle.
Poor Greg, man.
And you said what?
Poor Greg.
Poor Greg Olsen. He should have just went to CBS like you were supposed to. He's out there trying. It's like Jason. Didn't Jason Witten go to the Raiders? God, these just old creaky tin men. Like, you got to spray WD-40 in their joints just to get them to run a 5-yard out route. It's going to be ridiculous to watch it play. The one thing I will say about the Seahawks, they better hope and pray that there's going to be people in those stands, because they have the greatest home field advantage in all the sports. And I would love to see what happens to them when they don't have.
They're not going to have it. There's no way they're going to have the same. If anything, there's going to be less fans. If there is fans, it'll be less. There's no way it's going to be the same.
Yeah,
thing.
We'll talk about that in a second. So the Seahawks, guys, what are your thoughts about the Seahawks?
I love them.
They're a good team, and we know they're going to compete. They're built almost too good. Like you were saying, they kind of rebuilt how they should be, even though, I mean, and Russ Wilson is good, don't get me wrong, despite some of his social media posts. He's good at football. But it's almost to the point where it's like, you guys made the right moves. I'm almost waiting for like the downside, right? So I'm waiting for, like, is this going to be a bust year for them? Are they not going to gel like they're supposed to? Like, what's going to happen is, are no fans in the stadium really going to affect them that much? Knowing how loud it is and how much of an advantage that is in that stadium. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, on paper, they look like they should, if not win, come close to, with the Niners taking it. But, we'll see. It's tough for me to outwardly think that they're 100% the favorite. I still think the Niners are on top.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when you're opening up, Jamal. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Niners. I'm not sure what the Vegas is saying, but I'm willing to bet that the Niners are the favorites, but the Seahawks are not far behind. I mean, they're probably very, very close in odds, but
you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're actually tied with the Chiefs and the Ravens at 5-1. The Seahawks are at 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. So,
So
if it means anything to you guys, the Cardinals are at 40-1 and the Rams are at 60-1. So Vegas likes the Cardinals. If you look at that, then I guess the rankings of how the season's going to play out is they have the Niners winning division with the Seahawks at second, the Cardinals, and then the Rams. So. So
sounds
about right, probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just very similar to like when we were talking about the AFC North. I think with the Browns and Steelers, right? Like when I'm looking at people like Tomlin, and I look at Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, I just can't bet against them. So I'm not betting. I can't bet for Shanahan and Garoppolo. Even though the rest of that team is good. I like him, but I just like the coaching. I like the quarterback play there. He's, if not the best, he's the second or third best in the league, Russell Wilson. So, I'm betting. I'm willing to bet on them to win that division. You said they won 11 games last season. Yeah. I'm putting them at 12 or 13 this season. Wow. and taking back over that division. The Niners, I still think will win. We'll still obviously get in the playoffs, but I'm putting them at 11 wins. I think they'll probably lose a game less or so. And I select the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Niners probably will win the division. Seattle has a tougher schedule. Obviously, they have to play the Niners twice. They have to play the Cardinals. They always play them tough. They have to play division games. You can't rank them. Even if you think the Rams and the Cardinals are bad. I've watched the Dolphins have a better all-time record than the Patriots. Like, they have a winning record against the Patriots. It's just for some reason the Dolphins beat the Patriots all the time. I don't know why, but it's just one of the division games you can't really count. So you're playing in an already tough division, and then the first 8 games, the Seahawks have to play the Patriots, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, and the Bills. So I mean, that's a tough, that's tough.
Yeah, right.
That's a tough start, man. So if they can make it through that, I mean, they'll probably win the division. But I would say they take a little step back and probably hit 10 wins. I think 10 is a good, solid number for them.
Man, with the schedule you just rattled off, as tough as it can be, but with all the players that have just opted out, especially for the Pats, I have no reason to believe that the Seahawks can't start out in 4-0.
Yeah, I think their first 2 games are against the division, and then it just lists the
That's
team.
great. That's great. I can't wait to see that.
You said what?
I can't. That's a lot. That's a lot of good teams, but yet still beatable teams. So it's a good test, is what I'm saying. It's a really good test for them if they're able to get through that and go 4-0, or even go 3-1, but look really good. That's gonna be a really telling sign. But I never look at the strength of schedule, and that's obviously plays a huge part into it. I never look at that. I'm not sure who has a worse schedule. I'm just looking at the team, and if you have a tough schedule, that's obviously gonna mess you up. But it also can strengthen you for the playoffs if give you a test in the regular season.
100%. So we're all in agreement. The Niners or the Seahawks, they'll probably both be in the playoffs if anything, because they got the extra wild card team. Both teams can win the division. If not, one of them will most likely, unless there's something Russell Wilson tears his ACL or Greg Kittle fucking.
Or if Kyler Murray wins MVP, they might mess around. If Kyler Murray, I'm betting you. I swear, I'm betting. I'm not even joking. I'm betting on Kyler Murray to win MVP.
The 14-2 Cardinals. You heard it here first on Stuff About Sports. Ty said the Cardinals are going 14-2, and they're going to win the Super Bowl.
No, 13-3-1.
13-3. It'd be 13-2-1.
Oh, 13-2-1.
Cardinals going to tie. I can't respect the team that has a tie. How do you tie in a football game? Jesus. So that's our NFC West preview. We will now quickly do our top 5 tight ends. Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to rattle them off.
Oh, okay.
All right, Ty, go
first. Because Jamal trying to play me out and swears he knows what I'm gonna do. So
all right, before you go, if you have top 5 tight ends, if you're still watching on social live, drop your top 5 in the chat, and I'll read them off at the end. Go ahead, Ty.
So yeah, I'm not going what you might think at number 1. Actually, I'll start from the 5 because it might help. 5 is Gronk. 5 is Gronkowski. I'm not putting him at 1. That's surprising. You thought I would put him at 1.
An awful pick.
No way.
I didn't think you were going to have him number 1, but I thought you'd have him at 3. I'll be honest with you, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, no. Well, he's a season removed, so that alone is enough to be like, I'm willing to pause. But when he played, we all know he was the best tight end in the game. Is that arguable or what?
Yeah. Travis Kelce's been better than him for quite some time.
Okay, all right. Kelce was how many years has Kelce been in the league? What are you talking about? Gronk was the man for multiple years prior to Kelce even probably being thought of.
I got you, but Kelce's been in the league since 2013. So all right, so from 2015, he's been the best tight end in football.
Kelce is the man, and but I'm putting Gronk at 5. At 4, I'm going Ertz. Zach Ertz.
Okay.
I like some Zach Ertz. I'm a confirmed Eagles hater. I really do not like the Eagles, but I respect some of their players. I just don't like the fans. It's mostly what I don't like. But Ertz is a bright spot on that team. He's just old reliable. He's the guy that he's there. He's there. He's not always injured. He's on the field and he gets the ball a lot. I like Ertz a lot. 3, I'm going Mark Andrews. He's put up monster numbers, and with Lamar Jackson, he put up numbers with who was the quarterback there before? He was putting up decent numbers with Flacco. Yeah, he's putting up decent numbers with Flacco, and then now with a true offense and with a really good quarterback, he's putting up even better numbers, and he's just a beast in the end zone. So I'm going Mark Andrews. Then I think it's obvious. I think we all should be at the same top 2 and Kittle and Kelce. I'm going Kittle 2, Kelce 1. And you probably can interchange those guys. Both those guys are nasty. I love me some Kittle and Kelce. Fantasy, I'm letting you guys let you know right now. I'm getting one of those 2 in fantasy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't care. I'll tell you my strategy. I'll go high. I might get Kelce in the first round if I have to, bro.
Holy shit.
Dead ass. I love me Kelsey and Kittle because they get the ball. Like, it's easy for a wide receiver to get lost in a game. These tight ends don't get lost. Like, it's just every game consistent numbers, it seems like. So they're putting up, both those guys are putting up wide receiver numbers. I like Kittle and Kelsey a lot, but that's the order. Kittle's 2, Kelsey 1.
Yeah, my list, my top 2 are similar. Kelsey's 1, Kittle is 2, and they do put up wide receiver numbers. They're treated like wide receivers, man. And both of them, I mean, especially George Kittle, he's a beast, dude. He's changing the game at that position in that town too. I went Zach Ertz my 3rd. And I am also a confirmed Eagle hater. I can't stand anything about that team. I'm a Giant fan, but you have to respect him, man. He's always getting involved. He's always in the offense. And like you said, he's like one of those Iron Men. He gets in there. He gets himself involved in every play. Plus, I mean, he's put up 70 plus catches and 800 plus yards in 5 straight seasons. So for a tight end, especially utilizing that offense, is huge. Number 4, I went with Old Faithful of the league. I went with Jared Cook, especially with that New Orleans offense. I think he's just going to do nothing but help them. It's just be another good option for the racist Drew Brees. And then number 5, I went with a young buck that hasn't gotten a good chance to prove in himself, but that's because he's been plagued with injuries. And the reason I took him 5 is because I'm hoping he has a full healthy season. And I went Hunter Henry. I have faith in this kid. I drafted him last year. He got injured. I think he was out for like 6 weeks, but once he came back, man, he tore it up with a vengeance. He had 5 touchdowns, about 650 yards, and that was on 55 catches. So, I mean, I think if he stays healthy, he's going to be solid.
Hunter Henry definitely has top 5 talent. He like you said, he has to be healthy, man. Like it just that's all there is to it. I like Hunter Henry. Yeah, hopefully, hey, if he could stay healthy all year, I just don't want him to fall into the Tyler Eifert category where we know that you're really good and you can't stay healthy. And now, like, I don't even know where he's at. I know he's not on the Bengals no more, but yeah, hopefully he can turn it around. My number 5, actually, I'll start at 1 because, like Ty said, was kind of easy. I have Travis Kelce at number 1, 5-time Pro Bowler. There's not much you could say. I mean, he's only 30 years old. Still, he plays like he's 25. He had 4 straight seasons of 80 catches and 1,000 yards. I mean, like, what are we doing here? You want to talk about hybrids? He's a receiver. He's a wide receiver, but he plays tight end because he's big as hell. Greg Kittle is number 2. He's going to be like the Christian McCaffrey for tight ends. He's going to destroy the market for what tight ends are going to be paid because he's like a wide receiver too, probably even more so. In terms of the way he's used than Travis Kelce. But yeah, Greg Kittle is my number 2.
George.
You said what?
George.
It's Greg. It's George Kittle?
George Kittle.
I thought it was Greg.
Scaring me. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's George. Nobody.
Who's Greg Kittle? He's nobody, right?
He's nobody.
I've just been calling him Greg my entire life. Fuck, my bad, George. My number 3, like Ty was saying, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, short-handed. He's been what's the quarterback that's never playing? He's always hurt. Carson Wentz. It's Carson Wentz's favorite receiver. Even though I think his numbers are kind of an outlier only because Carson hasn't been there healthy. But when Carson's there and Ertz is there, because Ertz has a little bit of injury stuff with him too, he's a sure thing as anybody. So I'm going to pick him at his best with his number 1 quarterback. And yeah, Zach Ertz is definitely number 3 for me. Number 4, I've raved about this guy mostly because he saved my fantasy season, and then I had to pay attention to him. But Las Vegas Raiders tight end Darren Waller.
Thank you. I wanted him in somebody's top 5. I wanted him. He's my 6 for me, but thank you for putting him in your top 5.
No problem, buddy. I had to. 90 catches and 1,100 yards after, he had some suspensions. He had some turmoil. He was a Hard Knocks, like one of those heart tug stories. To see what he did last year was amazing. Like, he single-handedly saved the Raiders season. He saved them from being like a bottom. I know they weren't that good, but like he was literally, him and Josh Jacobs were the saving grace of that team. Hopefully Mariota starts for them, and he can actually show what he can really do now that there's a real quarterback in town. We can get Derek Carr the fuck up out of here. Stop wasting everybody's time. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. I know Jerry. What is it? Henry Ruggs. Which one of those nice Alabama
receivers? I'm not sure
it's one of them. I think it's Jerry Rice Judy is on the Raiders now. So we'll see. We'll see what Darren Waller. Hopefully he can continue doing what he's doing. But I mean, his year last year was off the charts. Number 5, Mark Andrews. There's really nobody else for me. Mark Andrews has been great he's been Lamar Jackson's security blanket. They don't have anybody else besides Brown and Andrews, to be honest. So, of course, his stats look great, but he's been given the opportunity, and he's made the most of it. So, yeah, there you go. Let's see.
So listen, before we move on to the NFL bubble real quick, I've got to break this, and it's hockey bubble news. This is the first time. So the NHL playoffs started. The play-in rounds are done. Whoever got sent home got sent home. So today was game 1 of the Lightning and Columbus Blue Jackets game. That started at 3 o'clock, 3:09. There was supposed to be a game at 8 p.m. between the Hurricanes and the Bruins, but that just got postponed to tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. because the day game is just entering its 5th overtime, tied 2-2.
Wow.
5th overtime.
Whoa!
Wow!
So they played
for 6 hours?
2 full games. Yes, they played because it's 3 periods each. So they played the original 3 periods. They played again 3 periods over overtime, and then they just entered the 5th one. So if they make it to a 6th overtime, they're essentially playing 3 games back to back to back. The Blue Jackets goalie, Korpisalo, has made 85 saves. That's a record high.
Holy shit.
And the reason I break is because this is the first time sports has encountered this since we were sharing arenas. They literally pushed a game. So imagine those players in the mindset of playing game 1 of a playoff series, knowing you're going to go in there to show up and say, hey, listen, guys are still on the ice. You go home. We're playing tomorrow. Yeah. So, yeah, that's crazy. When I got the alert, I said game moved. I was like, Jesus. I was like, the Rona got into the NHL bubble. What are we going to do? But no.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But this is a new rule, right? Because wasn't there shootouts before? Or there's no more shootouts now?
That's in the regular season. So once they hit playoffs, it's sudden death overtime, and they play till somebody scores a goal in like a regulation time, if you will.
Wow.
So do you think this will change that? This doesn't happen enough for that to change, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably better.
This is the only time it's happened because since you're in the bubble and they're both these teams are playing in the Toronto hub. I mean, you're bound to run into this if you schedule 2 games to happen at this arena and one's not done yet because they hit a 5 overtime night, which never happens. So yeah, dude, this is crazy. So I mean, if anything happens, I'll keep you all updated while we discuss. Speaking of bubbles, while we discuss what could happen with an NFL bubble.
Yeah. If somebody wins, please break that. Kaz, real quick, he had Kittle because Jimmy G is his quarterback and Kelsey because Mahomes was his quarterback. So I guess he's putting qualifiers. I guess he doesn't think they're as good as their quarterbacks. Maybe, I don't know. He has Andrews at number 3, Hunter Henry at number 4, and Rob Gronkowski at number 5. The interesting thing about Hunter Henry, I don't know. The Chargers seem to love Tyrod Taylor. So I don't know. You probably should just start. I love Tyrod Taylor. But you drafted Justin Herbert in the first round, like early. You probably just want to start with him. Just let it go. If you're going to draft a quarterback in the top 10 or whatever, just play him. Fuck that. There's no. What are you waiting for? Just play him. So that was his top. That was his top 5. So now speaking of the bubble, that was actually one of my questions for you, Bert. How is hockey doing the bubble? Because that seems like a good formula for the NFL to adopt, no?
I mean, it would be great. The problem is the hockey teams don't carry the same size roster as NFL teams. Also, hockey games don't go on for like 4 hours like NFL games do too. So it's one of those things, and this is just playoffs, right? So when we're talking NFL regular season, you have 32 plus teams or 32 teams that are going to be in this. For the NHL bubble, it's just those who are in the play-in round and those that already qualified for the playoffs. So What I will tell you, it's been airtight. These players have been asked to leave their families and stay in this bubble. They've done as of last week, they did over 7,000 tests, and none of them have come back positive. So whatever they're doing in this bubble, it is working. So whatever restrictions they have in play. The only problem that I've heard about so far is what's going on right now is the fact that they had to postpone the game because the first one was running long. Because they're using, so there's 3 separate cities, all in Canada. And this one happened to be in Toronto. So I don't think something like this could work for the NFL. And first off, because since it's less teams, because it is a playoff situation, but also with the NFL and the way they've done their conferencing and carrying a larger roster plus practice squads, etc. I mean, it would be tough to bubble everything. The only way they can, I guess, try to do it is honestly if they add more bye weeks and extend the season. And I saw this on Twitter the other day, so I want to give props where props is due. So I just want to find it really quick. But I read a thread, Luke Russert. He's got a check mark. I don't know what he's famous for. I think his dad was famous for something. He may have played some sort of professional sport. I'm not sure. But what he said, and I agree with this, said the NFL needs to bubble. Now, what I said is build in more bye weeks. He's suggesting a 14-game season. So he wants to bubble the division games, have a bye. Then bubble the cross-conference games, and then out of cross-conference games with byes in between. So he said, get rid of the division ranking games, and he quoted, since, look, the MLB, obviously they didn't bubble and they're running into problems. Here's the example he gave. So the AFC East bubbles for 6 games. We'll take your Bills for an example. The AFC East bubbles for 6 games, then a bye. Then bubble with NFC West for 4 games, then a bye. And then bubble with AFC West. And then, bubble by using a safe location and use bye weeks effectively to mitigate risk. And then playoffs in a bubble, one place where the Super Bowl is eventually played. So he's saying for all playoffs, I guess, pick host cities. And then out of, let's say, 3 host cities, that way you're mitigating travel. And then pick one of those cities to host the Super Bowl and go from there. I just think it's in theory, it sounds awesome and you could potentially do it, but it's just too much. When you think about the travel, you think of the size of the teams, the size of the staff. It would be a lot to take in. But they're going to have to look into setting some type of restrictions in place because as easily as you can catch it throwing a ball around, or using the same locker room as somebody in Major League Baseball, something's going to need to be done where you're literally crashing into other human beings and being tackled. So
I just hope they don't wear those masks. those weird looking masks that they proposed. They need a bubble.
Jordan's high school team, they have to wear masks under their helmet, like the regular masks that they put that we wear now. They're making them wear them under their helmet, and I told the coach that he's an idiot, and so I'm not allowed to watch the practice anymore. So,
wow. They need a bubble, man. I'm not really down with the whole coronavirus thing, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but this is what society is right now, so you kind of got to just do it. Like, you need a bubble, man. Like, there needs to be a bubble, and I'm looking now to see like what the latest is in terms of rules, but there is no bubble as of now. But teams on their own are trying to do bubbles. Like, all right, players come to the hotel, come to the training facility, and we're going to stay here and just be bubbled.
I believe the Cowboys just did that. I think they booked a bunch of hotels in downtown Dallas near the practice facility and said, "Yo, come live here."
But it's still an option, though, it seems like. And
right, yeah.
I guess it kind of has to be an option. You can't really like force the players to do anything. But I wish, it's getting scary, guys. It's getting real scary for the NFL. I'm worried. I'm seeing what's happening with baseball. I like that idea. I'm not sure who proposed that idea, Bert. You said the day you just gave multiple bye weeks.
Luke Russert. I have to look him up. I don't know who he was.
Either way, I'm not mad at that idea. Like bubbles, bye week, more time off, because games is only one game a week for football. You have one game a week. So
now that college, they were saying now that college is not playing, that they were going to run NFL games on Saturdays now, like, because they do that when college football's over. They'll have the Saturday games. Mm-hmm. Now they're saying they'll do that for the full season to kind of help. Teams with travel and things of that nature. They'll play a game early. They can leave a day early. It sucks. It seems like it's too late. Like
there should have been. I think there should have been some kind of rule from the gate, like, all right, we got to bubble up. We're going to seclude ourselves from the world for the season. And I know that's just a tough pill to swallow for professionals, but outside of that, I feel like you're going to get cases and you're going to get people missing and games postponed on they're probably not games postponed because there's so many players. I guess they're already saying they're going to have an extended roster.
They're expanding the rosters to 80, I believe, instead of the
so
53.
We're going to have some games. I mean, it's going to be a weird season.
Well,
I hope there's no star players.
Yeah, you'll still have your 99-man roster, but you cut it down to 53. You have your practice squad. You have whatever. I think they're going to keep it at the 99, but the active roster instead of 53 can be 80. So
yeah, that sounds good. I mean, they need it. If you're not going to bubble up, you're going to need some extra reserves because you're going to have it. I think, and it's a little bothersome, and I hope it doesn't mess up the season too much.
NFL has given us no indication that they're going to stop for anything. They don't care who gets sick, and they're going to say, "Hey, they're
going to care when the public outlashes and
NFL makes too much money. NFL, if nobody's actively stepped in and forced them to take these precautions now, when the season's less than a month away, or about a month away, it's not going to happen 2 weeks before the season. The only action they took was moving up the opt-out deadline. Because that, to me, was the move saying, we are playing football, and we don't care who's getting sick. And if you don't want to play, then fine. We just need to know who's coming. That way, whatever precautions we are doing, we can just make it final. Nobody has said anything to them from the jump. And the NFL has told us from the jump, they're not doing shit. They're going to play football. Everything's happened on schedule. No, the draft has happened on schedule. Free agency has happened on schedule. Everything has happened on schedule. There has been no deterrence or anything coming out for me to say that NFL is in any danger of doing anything. So when I thought about this, I said, okay, they're not going to do a bubble. But if they were to do a bubble and we were going to do it successfully, I had two solutions. And it's really one solution, just we could do it in two separate places. Where can every NFL team go that has the space where they built a brand new shiny stadium that needs the money and they need this market to succeed, that has not only the hotels but all the amenities that they need to sustain all 32 teams?
Vegas.
Don't worry, I'll tell you, Las Vegas, baby. It's in the middle of the fucking desert.
The coronavirus doesn't exist there, I think, right? In hot weather, it don't even exist, I heard.
Yeah,
no, it definitely exists.
Las Vegas.
We're gonna have a message above this live now. Facebook's gonna put this is a whatever they're gonna call it, Russian.
No, Zuckerberg loves fake news. He's not shutting us down. So
no, not at all. I'm trying to look up real quick Vegas's coronavirus numbers. I have to imagine it's pretty low. It's not one of those.
Don't look it up. The fake numbers anyway.
It's gonna take too long. But anyway, Vegas is perfect if you wanted to bubble the NFL. It has the space. It's not a tight-knit area. It's still a city. You can still travel. It's a desert. So you can control people coming in and out if you don't want fans, right? You can control.
Vegas needs the money too.
And Vegas
those casinos, I invested in some casinos. They need to bounce back. And NFL players being there would be great.
You fly all the teams there, and I get it. Look, I mean, you figure
and their families. Their families can come too now. That's the other problem.
Their families. Let's do team staff and everything else. You're looking at probably 4,000 to 5,000 people easily. And granted, Vegas hotels can hold that. They're a drop in the bucket for them. My concern is, where are they going to practice? Where are they going to play? You have 32 different teams that need facilities to practice, to play, to store the equipment. Logistically, we know they just built a shiny
NFL makes
stadium.
Billions of dollars. The NBA built a barbershop in Disney. I think we can build a football field out there. Just stamp some grass and spray paint it.
You got it. That's all well and good. And I was thinking to myself, that's fine. Use local fields, practice fields, whatever you need to do. But from
Tom Brady was in the middle of Tampa Park. These players don't need a field, bro.
When you go to the MLB and you look what happened to the Blue Jays, right? The Toronto, they were kicked out of Canada. The Canada government said, "Hey, fuck you guys, no baseball up here. That's America's sport. Take it somewhere else." So the Blue Jays were looking for different stadiums across the U.S. in terms of where they can play, and all of their concerns, along with the MLB, was all around production value. What's going to be easy for camera crews? Where are we going to put sponsoring shit? Everything else like that. no doubt they can build a field and put it up anywhere, but it's all about how are they going to monetize it since they can't sell tickets? How are we going to get this to different television networks? How are we going to play this simultaneously? Do we have enough of officials that want to partake and haven't opted out? Do we have enough support crew, cameras crew, everything else? You're talking about something that is absolutely huge, because you got to remember a lot of the in and tech personnel, not only some were traveling with the network, but there were a lot of them that were focused on every arenas. Your camera operators, they're tied to those arenas too. So
you're going to need those things in your home cities with the teams to travel, so they can condense that. They have enough people. The problem, it's just all spread out around the country. Hey, we could take half of you and you rotate, and we're all going to play at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And you know what? There's only, like Ty was saying, we're only going to play, a team only plays once a week and maybe twice a week if they play on Saturdays. Hey guys, Patriots, from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., you get to go practice at this field. And at 10:30 to 1:30, now the Bills, you go practice. You could get it done. Like, let's not act like they need, it. And there's, I just looked it up. There's 7 or 8 like high-end sports complexes in Las Vegas. Like, yeah, it's not, we're talking about guys living in hotels. You don't need the high-end field capacity. Like, you don't need the fucking ice tubs there. Like, go practice your plays. And guess what? We're going to go play football, because if this is like, and again, it's not going to happen. We're just saying if there was to be an NFL season played under these conditions, they could definitely make it work. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar company. If you don't think they couldn't wrangle up some, like, I'll go out there and ref. Like, they can find some referees to ref these damn games. NBA is doing it, and yes, I get that it's a smaller roster, but the operation is the same. It's the same reporters, same camera crew, same whoever, and they just rotate these guys. And you could do that with the NFL, definitely.
I mean, I like it. I mean, plus, so with Vegas, you have the added option too of being, from what I hear, I think LA's like a 3-hour drive from there, a 2-hour drive or something. So, yeah. I mean, in the off chance you needed more room to play, you could always bus teams out there to play for a particular week. Just make that a separate mini bubble too. So it can be done.
Yeah, with the amount of players, I think it's hard to have a one bubble for the NFL. Like, if there were to be one,
the city, like I said, okay, so essentially, the city is the bubble. Like, you can lock down the specific hotels. You can control travel from whatever hotels each team. And I'm assuming there's at least 32 hotels in Vegas. I'm guessing there is. And you can rent, like, everybody's making money now. Hey, we're the NFL. We're buying for these next 17 to 18 weeks. We're buying these hotels for our players and their families. And the Patriots are staying at this hotel, and the Bucks are staying at this hotel, and the Giants are staying here, and the Dolphins are staying here. And we're also going to have these buses that are going to pick your ass up and drop your ass off at the hotel. And you can't go nowhere without team officials like these strip clubs and these casinos. You can go enjoy them, but they can control it, and it's better to do it that way. And I'm not saying it's a perfect system. And if you really wanted to do it, my second city quickly was Hawaii. Fucking Hawaii could be perfect for it. They already have a nice-ass stadium that they play the Pro Bowl in. They have the college stadium out there. They have a bunch of nice high-end high school stadiums that teams can practice in. They have different islands. You can, like, you want to talk about a bubble, you can't even bubble better than an island. So
everybody gets their own island.
Everybody gets their own
island.
You
get an island, and you get an island.
You get an island. Everybody gets an island. So, yeah, NFL bubble, Hawaii, get it done, Raj. We know you can get it done. So, yeah, that'll do it. I don't have anything else. Do you guys have a game ball to give away?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, I got a couple.
Yeah, go for it. Give it to me.
Make it always better than Mike's.
Yeah, well, it'll be 100% better than Mike's. No offense, Mike. We get the irony in it, but still. So I had two. So I read an article last week on the Wall Street Journal about Eddie Alvarez. He's a baseball player for the Miami Marlins. He was a speed skater in the Sochi Olympics, won the silver medal. And then after that, I think at the age of 30, he wanted to transition into baseball and ended up working himself up through the system and actually got to play when half the Marlins roster was out with the Rona. So one of my game balls goes to him because, look, I'm a guy that just loves an all-around great sports story. And when you talk about people going from one sport, especially something like speed skating, over to baseball, I mean, that's just absolutely impressive to be a dual athlete, one of which is representing your country in the Olympics. My second game ball is more of a feel-good game ball to anybody who's a baseball fan that doesn't like the Houston Astros. And that's for Ramon Laureano, because this dude challenged the entire bench. He's pinged 3 times throughout the series. The last one in his back. Just had some words with the pitcher, just telling him basically how to pitch. If you didn't watch the video, go ahead and watch it because it's brilliant. He was telling him, no, this is how you throw it. This is how you throw it. Gets to first, and this base coach for the Astros is chirping at him. This dude, the base coach was actually just suspended for 20 games. Thank God, chirping at him. And man, Ramon lost his shit, was yelling at him. The second this base coach said, well, come on, let's go, he ran full sprint towards the dugout, just trying to tear their heads off. And, he was intercepted by a couple players. Mass brawl ensued. But, man, he goes up there with Joe Kelly in terms of, Mount Rushmore Hall of Fame of people that are just winning for the rest of the league when it comes down to hating on the Astros, those cheating liars. So second game ball goes to him.
Awesome. Yeah, fuck the Astros. They get everything they deserve.
For real, right? Yeah, I'm going game ball Devin Booker. And partly because of Jamal, you came out with the hot take about Simmons. I don't want to go too deep into Simmons and the Sixers, but I would love, you brought up the proposal of trading Simmons for Booker. I would love that. Oh my Jesus Lord, I would love that. But today, the Suns beat the Sixers. We didn't have any of our star players playing, but Devin Booker put up another good game. He had 35 points. But with that, he broke a franchise record. He recorded his 91st career 30-point game, the most by any Suns player in franchise history.
Jeez, man.
He's only 23. He's only 23 with the most 30-point games for a Suns player in franchise history. And I think he scored like 51 a couple of days ago. He's not even just that, they're like 7-0 in the bubble. He has not lost in the bubble and putting up monster numbers. Game ball to Devin Booker, man. Thank you for killing us, and hopefully we can bring you on. We can get you next season, man. That'd be awesome.
Man, I'll give away my kids to get Devin Booker in a Sixers uniform. So my game ball was actually going to go to the Phoenix Suns. Today, I did watch the beginning of the game once, just to see. But the pregame, how they announced the teams, like starting guard, Devin Booker, here's your coach. Instead of the announcer doing the introductions for the players, the Phoenix Suns had the family members of the starting 5 do a video introduction. And so, some of them, it was their daughter. And the players had no idea what was happening. They were watching it happen in real time, and you could see how emotional they were. And for those who don't know, Devin Booker's sister has a really complicated disease. It's called deletion syndrome. So basically, a lot of her body functions don't work properly. I think it's a form of Down. Don't misquote me. I'm not fact checking. It sounds like it's a form of Down, like a bad case of Down syndrome, like a worse thing than Down syndrome. I'm not sure, but she did his introduction. You could see how emotional he was. DeAndre Ayton's daughter did it. Monty Williams, who everybody knows, his wife tragically died in a car accident, I believe, a couple years ago. His 5 kids did his introduction. It was awesome. It was just an awesome thing for them to do while the players. So my game ball does go to the Phoenix Suns. I actually do have a second game ball, because this was a story I had saved on my phone as I was looking. Kerry Champion and Jamel Hill, formerly of ESPN, have a new show coming out on Vice, a weekly talk show. For those who are not familiar with Jamel Hill, she is awesome. She speaks her mind. She got fired for ESPN for being opinionated. But Vice is giving them a weekly show, and they're going to cover more than sports. They'll cover politics and culture and things like that. But I wanted to give the women a game ball, because that's a big deal for 2 Black women to get their own show on Vice. So that does it for stuff about sports. Bert, Ty, and Mike, hopefully you're out of the cornfield. Everybody have a wonderful night, and we will see you next week. Sports.